What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 9 of the East Pittsburgh Fitness Podcast. As always, I am your host, Jeremiah Rowe. I'm the head strength coach at Case Specific Wellness and Case Specific Athletics here in lovely Plum, Pennsylvania. At our facility, we specialize in individualized sports performance and personal training for everyone. Average Joes, elite athletes. If you have a pulse and consider yourself a human being, we will find the right programming for you and teach you to do it correctly. You can learn more about us at www.casespecificwellness.com. And of course, while you are there, don't forget to check out Case Specific Nutrition for nutrition counseling for any goal. We also now offer meal prep, particularly for Allegheny County as of right now, though we are hopefully going to be working on expanding that into different counties and different areas as that side of the business continues to grow. So for those of you like me who absolutely despise making food for yourself, we have that service for you as well. So we got the nutrition covered, we got the food for the nutrition covered, and we have the personal training and the fitness side of things covered, which is kind of what I want to delve into a little bit today. As this podcast has been growing lately, special shout out to Allison Wade for pulling a few more people than we originally had with her episode. That's by far our most popular episode yet. So shout out to you, Allison. I appreciate you. But with that in mind, for those of you who aren't as familiar with this wellness side or the fitness side, the athletic side, I just kind of want to take today's show to kind of give an idea of what your session would look like should you be interested in working with us. So I'm going to walk through that process a little bit. This might be a little bit more dry of a show, I suppose, but for those of you who, like I said, aren't as familiar with this side of the business and think you might be interested in it or want to learn more, it's going to be a good show for you. So, like I said, I am the head coach here at Case Specific Wellness. Again, located here in Plum. For those of you who grew up with Allison or know her just from her involvement with the local high school here or other activities like the dog park. We are local to this area where she is from. And what we offer is a variety of different personal training services. And like I said, I want to walk through those a little bit today. But I want to start this off with what that process is going to look like for you. So let's say you're a new listener. You heard that the famous Allison Wade was going to be on the podcast. You listened to it. You said, wow, that's really cool. That Jeremiah guy sounds like an awesome dude. I wonder if he knows what he's talking about with this training stuff. I could use that. If he's someone knowledgeable, he might be able to help me. What can I do, or what does the process look like for working with him? Well, let me tell you exactly what that process looks like. What we try to do with everybody is get them scheduled for an initial assessment. That's the first step in this process, is just contacting us and say, hey, I'm interested in the personal training or the strength coaching for you athletes out there. I'm interested in this. What do I need to do to try it out? So what we're going to have you do is come in for a free fitness assessment. Like I said, this session is no cost. There's no obligations with it at all. You just come in and I take you through this process. And when you're done, we sit down, discuss pricing, everything. Maybe it is for you, maybe it isn't. I always tell people the worst case scenario, you walk away from here knowing what you should be looking at with your training going forward, with whatever you decide to pursue, whether that's just training on your own, joining a regular box gym, or finding a different trainer somewhere else. You kind of have an idea of what you should be looking at for that. So what's that going to look like? We're going to bring you in. You're going to sit down with either myself or Alex, my other coach that I have working for me now. What we're going to discuss is your goals that you have right now. So at this moment, why are you interested in coming to see us? Are you looking to lose some body fat? Are you looking to add some muscle to your frame and maybe get toned, as they like to say? Which any of you who listened to my episode with Allison, you know how we feel about that term. But that's how a lot of people come to us saying, I want to tone up. We get what you're saying. We follow you. We can help you with that. And then what that is also going to do is give us a chance to discuss underlying conditions that you might have. Are you pre-diabetic? Are you diabetic? Do you have arthritis or tendonitis or issues like that, and we need to work around it, or we're trying to even overcome? Do you have any previous injuries or special considerations for your training that we need to consider whenever we are making your programming? So again, a good chance to kind of go over that stuff with you and get a feel for what your background looks like. And then once we have a good understanding of what you're looking for and the things that we need to keep in mind as we take you into the gym, we would do that, bring you into the gym area for your actual assessment. Now, what does this look like? I always tell people I have a full body warm up that I run everybody through for each training session, and it changes every couple months, and we kind of vary what that warm up looks like. But they all have the same kind of idea, and the purpose of this warm up is to mobilize restricted joints and activate inhibited muscle areas, as well as stimulate your central nervous system in preparation for your workout. So again, what does that look like? We're going to lay you on the floor and build you up and get you kind of moving around progressively from the ground, completely relaxed on your back, up to a point where we are standing up and active and ready to go. Now, again, we're kind of talking assessment at this point. You don't necessarily need this for the assessment day. Your assessment is very laid back. It's not high intensity at all. But I just like to have people go through the warm-up because, again, even if you walk away from the session with us, or from your assessment that is, and you decide it's not for you, I don't think this is the right fit, that's perfectly fine. But I'd like you to walk away with something so that you know that we are out here to help you, and regardless of whether you decide to go with us or not, we want you to take something home from that. And so what your warm-up is going to be is 8 to 10 movements or exercises that you could use every single day if you wanted to, just to kind of help you feel better and move better. Maybe you're someone with a lot of flexibility and mobility restrictions, and you feel tight all the time, and your back hurts, and your shoulders hurt. This is something that you can use even without training, just to get yourself moving around a little bit, even if you're a homebody more than anything else. So again, assessment day, don't necessarily need it, but it's something just to get you moving and give you an idea of some stuff that you could do at home on your own to feel a little bit better right off the bat. So that's anywhere from 8 to 10 exercises. It usually takes around 10-15 minutes, particularly that first time, teaching you how to go through each exercise and each movement, and give you a better understanding of what you're trying to accomplish there. Now, following that assessment, or following the warm-up that is the actual assessment, where we're going to take you through a variety of mobility tests and movement tests to gauge what your starting point looks like, in contrast to where you want to get and where we want to get you. So this portion is going to allow us to kind of determine what else needs to be addressed with your programming outside of what your initial goals were. It's going to create a better image in your coach's mind of what that programming should look like to help you move and feel better and train safely and train effectively going forward. And again, along with whatever goals that we've already discussed with you prior to the session. So that portion, I'm not going to go into details of what we do in there, but that portion is going to take around like 20 to 30 minutes usually, maybe not even that much. It just kind of depends on how much it wears you out. And it shouldn't too much, but sometimes people are, they're just starting to move around a little bit more, and the assessment itself actually beats them up a little bit. And that's perfectly fine. We'll take our time with you. We don't want you to kill yourself on this first day especially. So 15, 20, 30 minutes, somewhere around that is what you're looking at for the assessment. Once we are done with that, we get your heart rate back down if you're elevated and kind of get you hydrated, get you relaxed, brought down to that resting state. We're going to wrap up that session by sitting down and discussing your results and what your coach feels is the best approach for you going forward. As I mentioned earlier, there's no obligations to sign up at all. You could choose to walk away and never come see us again. We obviously hope you don't do that. But we allow a little bit of time at the end of the session to kind of discuss that, get your thoughts, give you ours, and see where we want to go from there. Now, let's take this in the direction of the ideal world where you absolutely love us. You love me or you love Alex. You say, man, that was fun. I want to do more of that more intensely and really feel the burn. Well, then we have some training options to discuss with you. So, again, for the sake of not making this the most boring, dry, dull podcast you've ever listened to, I'm not going to go into super deep detail with these, but I'm just going to kind of lay out our different training options for you, just so you kind of have an idea of what you're looking at whenever you come to us. So our training options that we tend to push more are the monthly, as we call them, monthly packages, where you have a set number of sessions to use within a quote-unquote month, which we just consider a 4-week period, a month. Your options for that are we'll say 1 time a week, 2 time a week, and 3 time a week, which are 4, 8, and 12 sessions, respectively, to be used within that 4-week period. So there's 2 subcategories within those 1, 2, and 3 time per week that are private and semi-private, where a private session is just going to be you and your coach. There may be another coach in there working with a client or two, but you will have that session exclusive, or you will have your coach and their full attention exclusively for that session. Now, semi-private, on the other hand, your coach may be divided between you and one other person. So I might have you and another, I guess there's no real way to emphasize that more. It'll be you, possibly one other client. Now, this doesn't mean that you would definitely have someone else in your session. This just means that you are open to share that time with someone else. And even if you do, keep in mind that you do still have your own workout plan. So you'll still be following your own workout. You won't be sharing the workout with someone else. It's still individualized to you, and theirs is still individualized to them. So again, it's just you pay a little bit less and you are open to the idea of sharing the session. That's all it means. Now, those are the monthly sessions that we like to, we encourage people to do that just because it keeps you accountable. It says, okay, you will be here 1 time a week, 2 times a week, 3 times a week, whatever you decide, for the next 4 weeks at minimum. You pay for those sessions. If you don't come to them, you just lose that money. That's just how those sessions work. I tend to be lenient with reschedules and stuff on that, though I feel like I shouldn't be because this is all set before you. But I know stuff comes up and things happen, and sometimes you got to reschedule. And that's, again, I completely understand that. That is perfectly fine. But the goal for those, again, is that they are to be used within a 4-week period. Now, if you're someone who you're not going to be able to come on a consistent basis, maybe you're coming from a pretty substantial distance to get here, and you're just not sure that you can consistently come week after week. Maybe you need to do every 2 weeks. Maybe you want to check in once a month and and take your programming somewhere else that works better for you. That's perfectly fine. We have individual sessions for that, which are available in a 1-session, 5-session package, or a 10-session package. And those are more of like a punch card type membership where they don't really expire. You just use them over the period of time that you need to use them over, which is perfectly fine. They're a little bit more expensive because, again, you're not held to the accountability of week to week you're coming in. but they're not that much more pricey per session. But again, that's another option for those of you that maybe aren't able to come in every single week. Now, those are all our individual individual session packages. I have to think of how I actually want to word that. Like one-on-one or one-on-two with your coach. We also offer a couple of different group training options. So the first one is our boot camp class, which is our longest tenured training option, actually. That was the first thing that we had anyone sign up for. Shout out to Eric Haberly, my first guest on this podcast. He was our first sign-up ever, signed up for boot camp the week before we actually started the class. What that looks like is you have 3 sessions per week, which are Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 6 p.m. Those are an upper body day, a lower body day, and a full body day / hit day / circuit day. We change it up on that Friday session monthly, and kind of we vary that a little bit, so it's not always the same kind of training month after month. Now, the goals of those sessions do change monthly. From we might do like a strength month, and then maybe a muscular endurance month, or maybe a power month, or maybe a hypertrophy or muscle building month. So they change again every 4 weeks, just to keep simplicity there. And that is our most affordable training option for just general population, where you're going to pay less for that, obviously, because there's a group of you. We generally take 5 to 10 at most people in that session. And it's usually closer to 8. It is the max that we generally take. But we have taken up to 10 at a time there. And again, that is 12 sessions over the course of 4 weeks, 3 times a week. We run that like a punch card, kind of like those individual sessions I was just talking about. So if you can't make it to a session, that's okay. We just mark your attendance whenever you do. And once you use up your 12 sessions, you are on to the next installment of your training plan. So again, that's our group option. If anyone is interested in that, we're always looking to get a couple more people in there to keep that class full. The group environment, it's a really good time. We have fun with that. It gets loud. We get a little rowdy and holler at each other and have a good time with it. So if you're interested in boot camp, definitely contact us about that. Now, the last option I'm really going to go into any detail with here, this one is directed more towards our athlete populations. So what we have is, we call it training camp. Now, training camp I offer in 2 and 3 session per week packages. And what that's going to be is an athletic performance focused training program, very similar to boot camp, where your goals for the training are going to shift month to month as you get into or out of season for most sports. Now, obviously, all sports don't fall in the same season, so there's some variability to that, and we kind of take that on an individual basis. If we need to adjust rep ranges or goals by the session, you could do that with a little bit of manipulation, but that is open to athletes of any sport. So it doesn't need to be like a basketball team or a soccer team all in there at the same time. We'll take athletes of any sport. They can come in during those sessions. They're offered at different times throughout the day based on what people need. So we kind of have almost a create your own class with that, where if you get me 5 to 8 people who all want to come at the same time, we'll make that class happen for you. And whether you want that to be 2 or 3 times a week, again, another group option, so it's very affordable compared to the individual training that you get 1 or 2-on-1 with your coach. And so that is our athletic training camp. That's another one like our boot camp. We're always trying to fill that up. Right now, I have a couple slots available for our Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 5 p.m. class. So I would love to get that class filled up and get that going again, because it's a good time. It's a good way to get your friends involved and get you guys all in here training together, and it makes a good, fun, loud environment where we can really get some good work in and get you guys ready to go, hopefully going into the next athletic season, which we anticipate will be this fall. depending on what the powers that be decide to allow us to do. So again, if you are interested in that, please reach out to us, and we'd love to get some more training camp options going out here in our facility. The last thing that I'm just going to touch on real briefly is our online training option. Now, this is more for your people who are maybe doing bodybuilding, or maybe you live somewhere completely out of reasonability for you to train with us here, or you want to train 5-6 days a week, but it's not very cost effective for you to come in here 5-6 days a week. Online training, where I'm going to write you a program that you follow for as long as you would like to follow it, and once you're ready for a new one, I write you a new one. You just pay each time that I renew that program with you. Like I said, I'm not going to go into a whole lot of details of what that looks like because it's variable based on the person. So some things, or some people want it to look this way, or they're looking for something along these lines. Other people that is are looking for something along these lines. And so that I don't like to say that definitively looks like this or that because I'm very what's the word? I don't want to say malleable, but because that doesn't really make sense in this context. But it's similar to what I want to say. I am willing to adjust what those programs look like based on the person. So, again, not a lot of details on that. If that's something you're interested in, just contact me and we can discuss that one-on-one. But I think that kind of covers everything that I wanted to go over. Like I said, guys, a little bit more dry of a show today. But for those of you who might be interested in working with us, where you can get a hold of me or where you can get a hold of my other coach, Alex, you can email a couple different places. casespecificwellness@gmail.com. You can email Jeremiah at casespecificathletics.com, or you can email Alex at casespecificathletics.com. And any one of those emails is going to get to us, and we will be able to coordinate with you and get you set up for your assessment and get you started with whatever kind of training you think you would like to do. And you can also just find us on social media. If you search CSW Center or CS Athletics on Instagram, you'll find us. Or just Case Specific Wellness, Case Specific Athletics, both of them on Facebook. You can always message us and reach out to us on there as well, whatever you find easier. But I appreciate you guys listening today. I hope I didn't completely bore you to death and talk your ear off for these last 22, 23 minutes. And I look forward to having a fun, crazy discussion with you on Something Else Fitness here in the next 2 weeks. So I will talk to you guys soon. Thank you again for listening. I'm Jeremiah Rowe, and I hope that we hear from you soon out here at the Case Specific Wellness Center. I will talk to you guys in 2 weeks. Later.